here we have the second Gen 200X, a very popular three-wheeler. Many of us may have had our first experience on trikes with a Honda 200X, either a first or second gen. As you know, they're not as fast as our beloved two-stroke trike models, but these 200Xs offered ease of access, cost, simplistic designs, just all-around great times. I have many memories of riding around our farm on a first gen 200X and just beating the snot out of it and having a good time and learning to ride and building skills. Parts were cheap, they were abundant. So what would a new Honda 200X look like? Well, let's first review some of the stats from the 86 model. It was 199 cc's. It was a 4-stroke. It had a 24mm carb, a 6-speed manual clutch, 33mm forks with 7.6 inches of travel up front. Rear suspension offered 7.2 inches of travel, had hydraulic brakes, and a dry weight of 277 pounds. Well, now let's fast forward. If Honda was still making, let's call it a third gen 200X, what would we maybe expect to see? Well, let's go for a little bit bigger bore, and let's up it to 249 cc's. Let's ditch the 24mm carb and let's add some fuel injection. Now, I like kickstarters, but a push-button electric start sounds nice. We should upgrade the forks. We'll use some 41mm forks with 8.5 inches of travel. And then going to the rear, we will use a Pro-Link style setup with 9 inches of travel. We'll continue with a manual clutch gearbox and hydraulic brakes front and rear. Now where things get real interesting, let's say this third gen 200X, now 250X, can be street legal. Maybe a quick trip to the grocery store, or a connection between trailheads that requires a licensed vehicle. If all of that sounds good to you, then here is my rendition of a third gen 200X. And this project build will be going on this year, and take a look. Alright, so yes, they do not currently make new trikes, but they make a lot of great dirt bikes. And I've purchased a 2019 CRF 250F that is basically what I was describing. It is an air-cooled 249cc 4-stroke engine, fuel injected. Those were the stats on the suspension on the bike. As you know, bike to trike conversions is a very popular thing these days. So looking forward to converting this bike. So take a look at some of the... Alright, so here is the engine in the new bike. It is not kickstart, it is electric start, air-cooled. Here we have the front lower fork leg, just kind of showing one of the challenges the axle bolt goes through. Here's the rear suspension linkage, just to kind of get an idea what it looks like. Here is a TRX 250X quad, the current one made. And I show that because I'm hoping in this build to use rear fenders and a seat off of one of those. The OEM parts can be bought really cheap right now. I think I bought a new OEM seat and these white rear fenders for about $120 shipped to my house. So that would be a good setup in my opinion. Alright, so that is the sneak peek so far in this build. It is still currently ongoing. I do have the front conversion triple clamps on it now, not seen in this photo. So stay tuned. I plan to do a full build series on it and then report out how it does once I get it done. So I'm real excited about it, and we'll go into more depth on the build on my page, Vintage Off-Road LLC, for my YouTube channel. So hang tight, more to come on this. And yes, this trike will be street legal. It's not a street legal bike to start with, but I followed the process. I've already converted the bike to a street legal bike, and that will apply and carry over in my state of Colorado to it as a trike. This principle applies in many states, and I plan to do a future video talking about how to make a street legal trike, some of the challenges, things around that. So stay tuned for that as well. Thank you. Please share any comments, thoughts you have on this future build coming.